What up guys, Consultor here, and we're going to talk about environmental skills. Now I know we kind of brushed up on them in the past a couple years ago, but Adam Isgren posted a tweet to us not too long ago saying, Fanadust meta, I have a question. We can't fix the hanging, but we can adjust the environmental expiration times. Is 60 seconds good enough on all? Or tweak as needed by skill? So how these skills work is, you set one down, and they'll create a blanket effect for everyone on the field. Let's say, for example, give everyone +1 attack. But the thing that makes this kind of difficult is the fact that you have the ability to hang these environmental skills, and how you hang these skills are, you would get on top of something and then destroy the ground underneath it, and the skill would kind of hover in the air. Now the reason that that is bad is because the main way to take away an environmental skill would be to capture it. So after you set a skill down, it'll take about 15 seconds, you can't touch it, and after 15 seconds it'll kind of like solidify and become capturable. So you just run over it, and then you can assign it to one of your buttons. It'll turn into an aura, and then you can just capture that aura. So the game developers knew that you have to implement some kind of counter to these without having to have a counter spell or counter skill within your deck. But with this whole hanging thing, you pretty much just dodge that. So you can set up something that can be very beneficial to you and very unbeneficial to your opponent, and they have no way of deleting that skill unless they have a skill within their arsenal. Now, some of the skills do have timers, so it does show that they can add that ability and they thought about it. So some of the environmental skills in the game, such as Vanishing Light, I'm just going to use that as an example, that says prevents everyone from using optical skills, but in the end it says for 1 minute. Now something like this without a timer can be extremely powerful. Now, so they implemented this 1 minute timer, but of course a lot of people weren't using it because they have other options of untamed skills. And that's just the beginning of why hanging is kind of bad. Another reason is simply when you place an environmental skill, you can't cast another one, and other players can't place their environmental skills. Now, that's technically not too bad, not too awful, because, you know, like in other games, if one field card is out, you technically can't play another one, or depending on the rules, of course, of that game. But in this one, they want you to pretty much go to it and delete it yourself. So the tech play would definitely be, you know, trying to find a good spot to hide it, you know, trying to defend it, get people on it, or make people, you know, worry about it so much, but you're using that to your advantage of them trying to get it while you're attacking them, and so on and so forth. There's many different things you can do. I just want to take a second here and apologize if I stumble over my words. I'm kind of going off script here because I really want to just talk about these environmental skills, and I really think they should be at least given a second or even third look before the game comes out, because this has been one of the only things about Fanadust that I really dislike. The game by far isn't perfect, and there's a couple things that I definitely see them needing to change, but overall I think this, as a main mechanic of the battle system, it should be definitely looked at or tamed in a way. So I do agree with Adam Isgren. He's pretty much asking us if he should, and I think he should definitely go with his 60 seconds on all of the skills. Now, obviously, all the skills range in their strength and effects. Someone would hang a skill, and it would totally negate their deck, and they would just end up leaving. And that's just no fun. Someone just plays one card, and they put it in a good spot. Well, can't stop it. You have to leave the game, or it becomes almost impossible to win. Yeah, you can definitely just trug through it, I guess, bash your head against the wall, but who wants to really do that? It's gonna get to the point where, like, let's say if there is a tier system or a rank system, near the later ranks, if someone puts a skill up first, or be a race to it, that other player is just gonna leave. Maybe at lower tiers, you're gonna find players actually just trying to play through it, maybe with no luck, but they're still not gonna understand just how powerful something like that really is. So I definitely agree with the timer added on each. Now, this can be adjusted depending on how the game plays out. I think for now, everything should start with it. And when the meta is formed, they can go ahead and adjust it, or so on and so forth, or something that's not really too bad. It's not long enough, so they add 2 minutes to it, or make it 45 seconds if it's too crazy. I really wish they would be able to fish the hanging, or have some way for the environmental skills to float down to the ground if the ground underneath them is destroyed. Maybe not float down to the ground, maybe just disappear. Because floating down to the ground, if you put it in a certain spot, that can float off the map, and that can maybe in turn make it last even longer because of the skybox. But yeah, if the ground underneath it's destroyed, maybe have it just disappear. That could be an option. But if they can't implement something like that, and they want to go with the 60-second timer, then I think that's a really good way. A minute is a good start, because we have to realize what kind of game this is at the same time. You know, you're not going to have, not every single person is going to be playing 2v2 4-player free-for-all, and the games are going to last 20, you know, 15, 20 minutes all the way down to the timer every single time. So something that's like 1 minute, I think, is really good for the time span of these games. So some people are opting for 3 minutes on some of these skills, with the ability to still hang them. So like 3 minutes is a long time. I think 3 minutes you can pretty much go through your entire deck, or almost all of your deck, in that time span. So that is an incredible long time. So I think 1 minute's really good, because if you really wanted more time, you can go ahead and add more environmental skills to your deck. So for example, if you dropped your environmental skill and it lasted for a minute, and you're like, man, I really want that effect again to give me the advantage, go ahead and throw another one down, and then another one down. Or if you have another set, you can have 6 environmental skills in your deck. Some people fail to realize that, you know, you can still add more copies of other environmental skills in your deck. They kind of forget about that, because they're so used to a player really only using just one copy of an environmental skill in their deck, and if they reach it, they can hang it, and that lasts throughout the entire game. So why put more in? The only reason that you would ever put more in now is to try to get to it faster, than your opponent. You know, try to siphon through your decks and be able to grab that and hang the skill ASAP, so you can blanket everyone else's ability to do that. And a lot of these decks that people post, really, even the ones that I post, really only have 1 environmental skill. If I would ever post a deck with 3 environmental skills, that's literally because I don't have a counter to them, and my counter solution pretty much is to drop mine faster. So like in one of my Vicious Balance builds, I have 3 environmental skills, and I just want to grab one immediately and just drop it, just so I can kind of blanket them from dropping one, and I'll go ahead and hang it. Yeah, I'm definitely, if they're not gonna fix the hang, and if they're not gonna add a timer, it is the better way to play, and I would suggest that you all do it. It's kind of weird for me to suggest that, because when I play with my friends, we kind of make sure, we kind of like house ban, I should say, with that ability. You know, if you can don't hang them. If you hung it on accident, that's fine, but try your best not to hang it. Put it in the spot. Try to find a different solution. Put it in the spot, defend it. If it's 2v2, go ahead and make sure your partner knows where you dropped it at, so you guys can defend that thing. And I think that's honestly how it should be. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, so they have to find a different solution for it. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about environmental skills, especially if you played the old game or if you tried it out. As of today's date, there hasn't been any changes announced just yet, and this was kind of an old tweet. I hope they're still looking into it. Maybe they haven't found a definitive answer, or maybe they're just really waiting for the community to cry about it when it actually happens. And I don't really think game developers should be waiting for an outcry in order to make changes, but especially when they know that it could potentially be a problem, and we all know that these can potentially be a problem. And I think it's a good start to try to find a solution early for them. But again, let me know what you guys think about it. If you think it should be no timer, if you think it should be bigger timer, or if you think of a whole new way of how skills should be dealt with. Maybe add another type of penalty rather than a timer. If you want to keep it out longer, it's going to cost you health or something. Now, if you guys haven't checked it out, check out the Phantom Dust forums. It's called Phantom Dusted. It's a really great place to keep up with everything that's going on. It's run by a guy named Fraker, and he makes sure to throw up every update as they come out. He's on top of his game. So if you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and go to phantomdusted.com and get into the forums and stay connected with all the Phantom Dust talk and things like that. Anywho, guys, this is Consento. Thanks for plugging in, and check you later. Peace out.
Bass, DDR bass, DDR bass, DDR bass. I am here, and my name is Chaos. Rap is to me like music is the Amadeus. Wolfgang, the famous composer. When I stepped in, I told him to move over. I am the new kid on the block, and a mission to make your body.